Hello, we're going to find out how to use the time slider function in ArcMap, and we're going to begin with looking at hurricanes and plotting a hurricane. So first off, as I'm got over here is from one of the projects that we're doing in class, is on plotting the hurricanes, and here's the website where you can get the data. So first off, I'm going to copy this information over here, and then go to the website and get the data that I need. So over here is a listing of the hurricanes for 2018. I'm going to be picking Hurricane Leslie. And here's all the data for Hurricane Leslie. I'm going to download this as a CSV and then take and copy all this information. I'm going to open up Notepad and paste all the information in there. You can see that I have some extra information over here that I don't need, all the quotation marks. So what I'm going to do is eliminate those. I'm coming over here and getting all that information, going to edit it and get rid of all the quotation marks. So there I've eliminated them all. And what I'm going to do now is select everything and copy it. I'm going to now open up Excel and put that information in here. So I have a brand new spreadsheet. I'm coming over here to cell A1, going to use the text import wizard. It is delimited. And I'm going to come over here to the next. It is not by space, but by comma. And now I have this one, my advisory number is going to be a numerical field. I have this one is going to be a date field. Has month, day, and year. And then the remainder over here are numbers. And these columns over here I'm going to get rid of. So I'm finishing it up. And here's all my information. And what I'm going to do is now come here and fix up my numbering system. I'm going to delete all those because I had data in there that had like 61A and I don't need that. So I'm entering in the numbers that I need. And I'm going to renumber this so that it's all correct. And over here, I'm going to take all of my date information, make sure it's in the correct format. So over here, I want to make sure it's date. And I'm going to come down over here. Then I have the month, day, year, and time. Click OK to that. I'm not going to need these cells, so I'm going to get rid of them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new column over here because my longitude is actually positive value. And what I need to do is make it a negative value to plot correctly. And all this is going to be is the negative of that number. I'm going to copy it. And then paste it all. Now then I'm going to come down over here and copy all that data, and I'm going to paste it as values instead of formulas so that it is recognized when I bring it into ArcMap. So now this is all just numbers. I can get rid of that column. And what I'm going to do is also plot where I have lines showing up on the map. So what I'm going to do is begin with X start, X finish. Oops, I want to do is Y start, X end, and then Y end. Now the starting position over here for the X coordinate is going to be the longitude. So I'm going to enter that. My finishing is going to be this point over here when I plot a line from it. So I'm going to do equal in that cell. My Y start is that value for the latitude. The ending is going to be the one right below it. And now I've got those values. I'm going to copy them and bring them all the way down. And I have everything I need to put lines in. This one I don't need because this is the last cell for the lines, because I have my start and finish positions, but this is not where I'm going to be finishing, so I'm going to get rid of these. And now I can do a file, save as, and put this in my downloads as Hurricane Leslie. Make sure I have it as a CSV. And now I've got my data available for what I need. I've already started my Arc map, so I'm going to come over here and put up a new map and open that. So now I have all that I need, and we'll get started here on bringing the information in. So what I'm going to do now is add my data. First off, I want to get a base map. My oceans, I'm going to add that. It'll be coming up in a second. And what I'm going to do is zoom in to the area where I'm interested in, where Hurricane Leslie is going to display. So there we are. Now what I'm going to do is come over here to File, add my data. I want to add my XY data, and I'm going to do it from my Hurricane Leslie CSV file, and I want to display my X field is going to be my longitude. The Y field is going to be my latitude. And over here, if I look at the details, this is not going to display correctly because this is in units where the XY is going to be in meters. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to edit that. I'm going to come up and look at coordinate systems. And for the world, I'm going to pick WGS 1984 and click OK. I now should have this display correctly. And I know I don't have an object ID field. That's not a concern, so I'm just going to do that. And here's my Hurricane Leslie plot. So what I'm going to do now is make it a time-enabled feature. So I'm coming over here and doing a right click on Hurricane Leslie. And it'll open up with the properties here in a second. And I'm first going to come over here to symbology, and I want to make this a hurricane symbol. And I'll actually here for weather. I'm going to do that. Click OK and apply it. Then I come over here to time. I'm going to enable my time feature over here. My time field is on date. My field format is date and time. I'm going to have my interval as being 2 hours. And I'm going to display the data cumulatively. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And let's see if it did it correctly. There's all my stuff. I'm going to go say OK. And now my time slider feature should be active. And I now have the 1 point. It should be, if I come over here to my options, I have every 2 hours. It's going to go ahead and show that. I could actually display the time and date. So I'm going to display my date at the top. My time format is going to be this one over here. I'm going to have it on the map. And now I have this all set up, and I'm going to be able to go ahead and play it. And it's going to cycle through. You can see I have the date here at the top, and now it's plotting the time information that we had on the Hurricane Leslie as it's cycling through. So you can see that there's some gap in the time because I have it every 2 hours. It's plotting it out. It'll take a little bit to go through the whole cycle over here. So I'm going to zoom ahead on this here and get it to the finish. So I can move on and actually putting a line to the plot. So there we go. We have finished up with the Hurricane Leslie, the data that's been plotted for time. So I'm going to close my time slider feature. And I've actually looked at is how do we display a line with it. So over here, we have display our XY data. We're going to go actually to the data, export the data. And then we'll go to the ARC toolbox, get data management tools. go to the features and convert XY to a line, and I'll show you that in a second. So what we're first going to do is go to data for the Hurricane Leslie, export it. So do a right click here, data, export data, and we want to use the source data. We're going to call this oops, I screwed that up. Let me do that again. Make sure I got the right format. Data, export my data, and I do want a shape file. It's going to be hurricane underscore Leslie shapefile, and I want to put it on my map. So there's my Hurricane Leslie shapefile. If I come back over here to what I was talking about, is we exported it, we saved it as a feature class. We're now going to go to Arc Toolbox, Data Management Tools, Features, and then go XY to line. So I'll go back to here, and I'm going to get my tools, which it should bring up over here in a second. And again, what I'm looking for is data management tools and features. So there we go. And features. And I'm going to come down over here, XY to line. So I'm going to make a line so that I can see the path that the hurricane came on. Double click on that. My input table is going to be my shapefile. So you can see just following along over here. And I'm going to head and run it here in a little bit. So there's my Hurricane Leslie that I'm using for my input table. And I should have on here is the X field for start, the Y field for starting, the X field for ending, and the Y field for ending. And I should have all the stuff that I need. So if I click OK, it should start running over here and have XY to line if I did everything right. And it should have, where did it go to? Let's try it one more time. It evidently did not do it. So let's try it one more time. I'm going to come over here to my Arc Toolbox, XY to line. My input table is going to be my Hurricane Leslie. My X field is going to be my X start. My Y field is going to be my Y start. My ending of the X field is over here, and my Y ending is over there. And if I click OK, it should run it. It is not displaying it, but that's how you go ahead and do it. Let me see if I zoom out to my full extent. It is not displaying it, but it should have produced a layer with that on there. That's how you make a line if it actually was working. So that's the end of our video on how to use Time Slider, and I tried to get it to actually produce a line, which I've done previously, but evidently in this case, ArcMap is being a little quirky and not displaying it.